What's going on, everyone? So, one of the big things that I talked about pretty regularly this season, and I even talked about it pretty regularly last season, is a lack of balance in the starting unit and my concern when the offense dries up, right? You have, before Luka and all this stuff, you had D'Lo, Reeves, right? Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Then you go and make the trade. You get Dorian Finney-Smith, but Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't even start, right? So then fast forward to now Luka, and your starting five is Luka, Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes. So now you don't even have Anthony Davis as your defense piece. Literally the best defender in your starting unit is LeBron James. And that has always been a concern for me because you ran in a team like Denver, and when the offense is cooking, right, you're up by 20. Looking good. You're feeling good. Lakers, man, this is going to be a different series. Let's go. It's money. And then the offense dries up, and all of a sudden Denver comes back because you can't get the stops, and you lose the game. Well, game one against Minnesota, what happened? Offense is cooking. Luka has 20 in the first quarter. Rui Hachimura hit a couple threes. Guys hit a couple threes. Gabe Vincent had a three, right? Like, things are cooking. You're up 7. Looking like, hey, man, at this rate, we're going to blow these guys out. And then it dried up. And then what happened? Minnesota went on a 26-6 run and never looked back. That was it. The game was over, right? Lakers got outscored by 20 points. And that was it. That was the ballgame, right? Minnesota never looked back. And it's a concern that I still have, right? Because, again, when the offense is cooking and Luka's doing Luka things and Austin Reeves is Austin Reeves and LeBron is LeBron and Rui's hitting shots and Hayes is getting the lob and the emphatic dunks and all that stuff, the team looks great, right? Good luck. You're not stopping this team. But when it doesn't, you don't have the defense to offset to balance it out. In particular, first quarters. And why first quarters? Because that's the quarter that Luka really loves to get going. So if you were ever going to have a quarter where you want balance in your starting unit, it's the first quarter because Luka likes to go and drop 20 in the first quarter, right? That's why Luka and LeBron made so much sense because it was like LeBron loves the coast first quarters, right? He likes to kind of get others involved and kind of let other guys cook, and then he kind of just plugs in, right? Done it pretty much his whole career, right? Well, Luka loves to get going in first quarter. So it was like, oh, perfect. Luka can go off, give you 20, right? Reeves can kind of be the second and third quarter guy, and then LeBron kind of chips in, and then fourth quarter, LeBron time, him and Luka close this out, and then Reeves and all that stuff, right? Like, boom, let's go, right? But when Austin Reeves is bad and LeBron is pedestrian and Luka has an excellent first quarter, but essentially gives you, the same amount of points the next 3 quarters, right, that he gave you in just 1 quarter, and you don't have the defense and you don't have the things, all of a sudden you get the result that you saw with Minnesota, which was we couldn't stop them. We couldn't throw a rock into the ocean. You marry those two together and you get an absolute blowout win by the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? So the Lakers, I want to see better balance, right? I thought that the starting 5 should be something like either Luka Doncic with Jared Vanderbilt or Jordan Goodwin for the point of attack defense, rebounding, hustle, grit. And then at the 3, you could either do Jared Vanderbilt, Jordan Goodwin, or Dorian Finney-Smith, right, with LeBron and Jackson Hayes. So now, let's say you go Luka, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes. That's just a much better balanced, sizable, versatile defensive unit, right? Because now Luka can go off and do Luka things. Now Luka can go off and go give you 20, 25 in the first quarter, and it's fine. Because now LeBron, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, and Jackson Hayes can focus on the defensive side of things. Let Luka be Luka. Obviously, Dorian Finney-Smith is going to have to knock down the occasional three. Same thing with LeBron James. Jackson Hayes is going to have to knock down the lob threat, right? Like, you're still going to need some offense, right? Because Luka's not going to drop 50 in the first quarter. But you can let him be more aggressive. Now Rui and Austin Reeves can come off the bench and be that offensive spark plug off the bench, which you just saw the Lakers get outscored, what was it, 40-10 in bench scoring, right? And stuff like that. Here's the thing. Realistically, Lakers are probably not going to bench Austin Reeves. But I do think you need then to put like a Jared Vanderbilt in the starting unit in place of like a Rui, right? I think, because again, I talked about this so heavily, right? Like, I'm sure some of you are like, yeah, man, like I remember these conversations, right? Because it was just so apparently obvious to me, right? Like, what happens when it dries up? What happens when guys aren't hitting shots? What happens if Rui is pedestrian and Austin Reeves is pedestrian? These guys aren't able to generate the offense consistently that you need them to generate. Right? And then you run into that team that can get the stops and can score the basketball. Now what? Right? And you saw that in the Minnesota game. You saw the Lakers just fail to generate the consistency on the offensive side of things, particularly knock down shots and hit shots. During the regular season, you can get away with it. You can win a lot of games in the regular season just by being able to outscore opposing teams. Right? You can. You see it all the time. But the regular season is not the playoffs. The regular season is not the postseason. And they're almost completely different sports in a lot of ways. So Lakers can't get stops on the defensive side of things, and you can't score the basketball, but Minnesota can get the stops and still score on you because they're top 10 offense, top 10 defense. This is the result you get. And so I lean towards you need better balance. You can always make the adjustment throughout the course of a game, right? So if you did do something, let's say you went Luka, Jordan Goodwin, or let's just keep it simple. Let's go Luka, Jared Vanderbilt, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes. Let's say that's your starting five. If Luka doesn't have it going in the first few minutes, no problem, right? Like, hey, Doe, or whatever, Hayes, taking you out, and you put in a Rui or a Reeves. And there you go. Right? Now you got your injection of offense and that type of thing. Right? Like, it's just, you can plug in what you need to plug in whenever you need to plug it in order to make it fit better or to adjust for this, or you need another defense. Like, Luka is cooking and is killing it and all that stuff. And so maybe you're throwing a Jordan Goodwin in just to help with the rebounding and all that stuff and getting Luka more opportunities because he's out there and he's cooking and he's doing that stuff, right? Like, whatever you have to do. But I just think you need better balance, right? I just think, you need, like, we saw JJ do Luka in the 4 defensive pieces, which I think is a little extra. I do think you should have a guy like LeBron out there just to, if Luka doesn't have a go, you can always default to him. Or, if they just like, hey, well, let's just trap and stay home on Luka as much as possible and yada, yada. Well, now you have a guy in LeBron who could just take over and go get your bucket still, right? Like, I don't want to lose all of your defense entirely. Plus, you're even more reliant on guys hitting shots and those type of lineups than otherwise, right? But it's a concern that I had last season, and those concerns turned out to be warranted, and the Lakers got sent home in 5 games. And then after watching game 1, I was like, yep, this was the concern. This is exactly the thing that I talked about and I made videos about and I talked about in live streams and leading into the playoffs and you name it. Talked about this very regularly of, yeah, it's great in the regular season because, again, you can win just by outscoring teams. You can win by just, you're going to win more games than not because their offense is going to be that good, right? But what happens when you come to the playoffs? Game gets more physical. You don't get as many free throws. You don't get as many foul calls. the half court becomes more like the game just completely changes. And you play a team like Minnesota, who they can get stops as well as score the basketball. They're one of the few top 10 in both categories in the entire NBA. What happens? Well, you just saw it. You get blown out and ran through. What happened in the Denver series? We got blown out and ran through. I mean, again, when everything was cooking, everything working, what happened? Lakers are up, 20 points. Lakers are looking great. Everything's cooking. Hey, let's go. Lakers about to sweep Denver. Right? Denver who? Denver's member. Right? And then what happened? Lakers offense rise up. They make their big push. They come in and throw those haymakers. And then you look up and you're headed home. Right? That's simple. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.